Hey Ram fam, it's time for Ramzone. Now to our host.
What's up, Ram fam? Welcome back to a new semester of Ramzone. I'm your host, Kade Hinojosa, and today we are with baseball coach Kevin Brooks. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
So, give me something, what are you looking forward to most this semester?
Well, baseball season, always excited to get going here and just sort of see, seeing our team hopefully grow, players grow, and then hopefully having some success with that. But, and then it warms up as we go, even though I think this week we got a pretty nice weather. But, spring, even though we actually start in the winter, spring always hope is, everybody has great hope every spring. So the trees blooming, grass growing, all that fun stuff.
Awesome, I love it. Perfect time to have some baseball.
Yeah.
So kind of a little bit of background on you. You've kind of been doing baseball almost your whole life. Is that right?
Yeah.
You're originally from Waco.
Right.
And you played baseball through college and everything. You've been head coach here since 2005?
Right.
Wow, nice. What has made ASU home for you all these almost 20 years?
Well, yeah.
Over 20 years.
Obviously the people here, I always think are just the difference, and obviously invested a lot of time and effort into Angelo State and then in particular into the baseball program, so we had the opportunity to start it, and so it's almost like another kid to me, and so proud of a lot of the things we've done, but we're going to continue to try to get better. And but yeah, I remember when I'd never really been to San Angelo. I think we stopped at the Town and Country, which is now Stripes. We were going to play Tech in Lubbock. I had sort of some deja vu on that. I'm not sure we did, but I feel like we did. But I think that'd really been the only time I'd ever been in San Angelo until came here and then we're able to start the program. But, the people, I'm from Texas. I've been in Texas my whole life. I think Texans are generally pretty friendly people. It was a whole new level when I got to San Angelo on just how kind and helpful, all the people are, and it is different. It's different than other cities, and so I think it's such a blessing.
That's awesome. Would you say that the community itself plays an important role to the baseball team?
Huge. Biggest thing is our attendance. We lead the country every year in attendance. We outdraw, I think it's 88% of Division I programs. We've been able to do so many things with the facility and program through donations from people in the community that have invested in young people. And, it's something we use in the recruiting realm, of like, hey, we try to show them as best as we can. This is what it's like here, and our players love it. They love all the community support and support we get from Angelo State and just everybody, and it makes it special. It's different, and like I say, we're just really blessed to be in that situation.
That's awesome. That's what I hear from a lot of the other coaches in different sports is they couldn't do it without the community.
Absolutely.
And it's the community. I think that's one thing that's so cool about San Angelo is just how much the community pours into, not just ASU as a whole, but just even each individual sport.
Right.
People are, baseball lovers are going to come to baseball, golf lovers are going to go support golf, and just the amount of support that each sport has, I think that's pretty cool.
It is. It's different, like I say, and it's one of the things that really helps make this place special.
Awesome. What would you say in your 20 years being here? What has been something that's been, a big change since your first year compared to now?
Our facilities, because when we got here, it was a little bit of a challenge. We had a beautiful stadium, but at the time we shared it with the San Angelo Colts, and they were in the midst of some ownership changes, and hence some of the upkeep had sort of gone downhill. We didn't have locker rooms. I remember the very first thing I did, we had a budget and we needed batting cages, and so we had batting cages. They weren't very nice, but they were behind the left field wall there. Went and got turf and went and got new nets. And on day one, somebody took a knife and just all down. So that was depressing way to start it. And then, since then though, we've got an indoor facility for our players and locker room, and then obviously the stadium was redone about 10 years ago. And anyway, it's just a great place. And anyway, so that's probably been the biggest change.
How was it when y'all did finally acquire the Colts Stadium? Because that was a big thing for San Angelo.
It was a big thing. Yeah, it was a dream come true for me. I'll be honest, I didn't think there would ever be a day we weren't sharing it. And, just like with brothers and sisters, sharing sometimes not everybody's the greatest at it. I'm probably not the greatest either. But it's just difficult, especially when you've got that overlap where both teams are sort of playing there. But I'm always internally grateful to the San Angelo Colts, because without them, we would not have the Angelo State baseball team. And so, Harlan Bruja and Robert Hagelin, who was the dean of the business school, and then Harlan was the head of the Small Business Development Center, two Angelo State people that were just instrumental in even getting that ball rolling, and then blessed enough that I got the chance to start it.
That's amazing. That's really incredible. So going into, current 2026 season, y'all have already started. Y'all had y'all's first games this past weekend.
Right.
Y'all won 2 of the 3.
Yep.
What was your takeaway from this past weekend?
Well, same. We got a long way to go is the biggest takeaway, and we knew that. We're a very young team, a lot of new faces. But, like on any game, no matter how bad it is, it's generally not that bad. No matter how good, it's generally not that good either. And so we did some things well. And then there are a lot of areas we've got to work hard and improve on. And, is that going to happen in a week? I hope so, but it may take a little longer than that. But it was good to go out and play somebody else. We won the first 2 games really easily. And then game 3, I think that's one thing we have to learn is we're probably good enough to beat anybody, but also if we don't show up, we're good enough to get beat by anybody as well. And so just sort of learning that every day is the World Series, every day is the biggest game of the year, and you got to show up and prepare like that. And maybe a little complacent yesterday, and then also maybe they just played better than us. That happens too. We play a lot of games in baseball, and so that happens. But was really pleased with our pitching this weekend. We did a really good job, and we're sort of banged up, got a lot of injuries there, so I was really glad to see a lot of guys step up positively. Obviously, the offense was really good the first 2 days, scoring in double figures, and then yesterday we get shut out. So it just shows you how weird baseball is. Game 1 doesn't necessarily really carry over to game 2 and game 3, and et cetera. And so I think just understanding that, and we hit into some line drives and stuff, and sometimes that's just baseball. But I had opportunities to win the game, and we made some mistakes, and hopefully we'll learn from those and get better from them.
Going back to what you said about, the games don't kind of go into each other, how well you did in game 1 doesn't necessarily how you go in game 2. How do you prepare for that, even not just going from this weekend to next weekend, but again, this weekend you have 3 games. So how do you go from game 1 to 2 to 3, even no matter what the score is?
Yeah, well, that's one thing I think that's one thing. Baseball players are a little bit different, because what we do is, to me, most akin to life. You get the best news in the world all of a sudden, and then 10 minutes later you get in a car wreck or have a fender bender or get a ticket or whatever, and you just got to sort of try to maintain an even keel on most things and not get too high, not get too low, but yet there's got to be an intensity at which you go about things on a daily basis. And it's just, trying to, a little bit at a time, stacking bricks, or, depositing money in the bank, put in 10 cents a day, and after 30 years, that's a pretty good, amount. But it's not these big ups and big downs. You try to not have those. That's sometimes more difficult to do. But, and so I think that's the thing that, like I say, baseball is such a great teacher of life, because life comes at you, with blessings, and then we get some things that are challenges. And at the same time, you've got to maintain your joy in who you are, but even though your circumstances may not be that way at the time. And so, and then we try to do things when it's within our control to change those circumstances if we don't like them, or if they're going how we do, keep going, keep doing the things that have worked. And so it's just a day after day, and I hate when people use the word grind, because goodness gracious, what we do is not a grind, it's a blessing. And so, but it's just a bunch of little bitty decisions that hopefully are the right ones. And then hopefully at the end of the day, you look back and go, wow, those really added up, and we accomplished something.
I like that. One thing I love about, interviewing all the different coaches and everything is y'all all kind of take the sport and put it to like real life. It's not just a game. And I think I loved what you said about that. It's kind of like just adapting to whatever's literally thrown at you.
Right.
And so I love that. What would you say your coaching style is most like?
Coaching style, I don't know. I think the biggest thing in coaching, you've got to define whatever your expectations are. We've got to hold each other accountable for those expectations, and be consistent. That's basically all coaching is. Again, clear definition of this is the line, and if we're not there, trying to do things in order to get there, and then just being consistent. And so I don't know if I have a style. I think the biggest thing as a coach, you got to be you, and you can't try to be somebody else. And so for good or bad, I think I'm me most of the time. And there are times that we push them a little bit because we think they got more in there, and then there are times that maybe you back off and you just got to be able to read people, and hopefully I feel like it's something I'm okay at.
Awesome. I love that. Going back a little bit, you said the team has a lot of new faces this year. How many new recruits? Are they all recruits? Are they?
Well, I can start with our pitching staff. So our pitching staff, we returned 0 starters and 0 guys that. Well, Josh threw little significant, but he had 20-something minutes. Josh Reed. And then other than that, I think everybody had 15 or less innings. So I think we returned 40 total innings. We play about 600, so that. Very minuscule amount. Everyday wise, return Austin back, who's been here a long time, great player, second baseman. Blake Wilhoit was the Gold Glove winner last year in the country at catcher, and returned. Let's see, we had a third, Chase Finley, who was a designated hitter last year, All-American, and then that's it. So now we did return some guys that they just didn't have as much playing time and experience. And so it's a lot of new guys getting their first shot. We're starting right now 3 freshmen, which that's a third of the lineup, are guys in their first year of playing college baseball. So so we're going to have some growing pains, and we're going to do some freshman-like stuff at time. But you hope, like with everything, we gain from those experiences. And improve, and that's our hope moving forward.
What do you look for when you are in that recruiting process? Like, what kind of players are you looking for?
Well, that's the thing. The recruiting process, as I always tell everyone, man, if we got to go get the players that we wanted, we'd win the national championship every year. So you've got to find players that want you as well. Yeah. And so. It's a difficult thing. I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the years, you obviously want somebody with, strength and speed and, can do all the things. And you have to be able to do those things. There's a certain level. But if you can somehow tap into who they are as a human, and are they a worker? And if they're a worker, I'll put money on those guys 8 out of 10 times. They're going to end up being way better than maybe what their capabilities are, but they're just going to will their way to do it and work their way to do it. And I think that's the biggest factor that determines success. Now, the hardest thing to do is you just don't know how somebody's going to react when they leave mom and dad, you know, and because people now all the decisions are theirs. You know, they've got to give themselves up. They've got to decide, and so it's a tough tool to evaluate. I think that's why we've been so successful in the past. Is we've been really good at tapping into those guys. I'm not necessarily sure we always get the best players, but we get the right players for Angelo State. This group, we don't know yet. You know, the answer's still out there, but we're hoping and hoping that they're going to go do great things.
What do you do when you like a semester now when you have a bunch of new faces? What do you do to get them kind of incorporated into the team with the veteran players?
Right.
How do you make it one team?
Well, yeah, and that's the biggest challenge. I mean, I think it's always been that way. I think it's more so that way. There's not a lot of messages being sent from the time you're born till, now young adult life going to college, where the message has been, hey, let's worry about the group instead of myself.
Yeah.
And trying to undo 18, 19, 20 years of that is not something that happens overnight. I think the one thing that our current players, so the returning players, are so good at, they're so good at day one from saying, look, here's the deal, this is how you need to do this is how you need to do that. And they speak from a place of, okay, I got 4 rings, go look at all the trophies. This works if you'll do it. Even with all of that, there's sometimes people that are like, no, my way's better, all that. And so it's just a challenge, especially with, 35 new guys instead of 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes the 10 are sort of forced to go along with the 35. Now this year, we're probably outnumbered new people to old people. And so it's been more of a challenge for sure. I hope we're gaining some ground on that, but we're still not anywhere close to where we ultimately want to be.
When it comes to baseball is kind of a unique sport where it is like a team sport.
Right.
But there is a lot of like individuality in there as well. How do you manage that coaching-wise when you're trying to coach maybe an individual but also coach them as the team as well?
Well, I think what you try to do, obviously, you try to make each individual better, right, in their skills. And, I'm not going to teach you the same way to hit as somebody else because you'll bring different skill sets, different experiences, all that. So we try to sort of meet you where you are. I think in regards to the team, you've got to think, hey, what can your skill sets do to help the team win? And how do those work within the team concept? And so that's a challenge again, because to get to college, right? It's my stats, my stuff. That's how I got here, right? Whether I was on good team, bad team, I think we'd generally rather get guys from good teams that have hopefully experienced some of the traits that we look for. But, it's generally more about them. And so now trying to get them to buy into the team concept. But just sort of, understand everybody's a little different. And then, we try to get everybody to have as many tools in their toolbox, so to speak, to be able to use depending upon the situation and depending upon how the team needs them to use those in order to win. And it's really simple, but yet it's difficult to do at times.
How do you, kind of going back just a little bit to the new recruits and everything, how do you adjust, help them get adjusted to more like not just college life, but college sport?
Yeah. I think, well, we again, our first meetings and stuff, we set the expectations. And you want to be successful, here are the things you need to do. Now, I've never been a big make people do things kind of guy. We all want intrinsically motivated guys. And so we're not those that say, okay, you need to go hit on your own from 2 to 3 p.m. every day. You need to go do this. But we tell them you want to be good. You need to do those things on your own. We have NCAA rules and stuff on ours, and so it's not enough. You'll get better, but you're not gonna have big jumps or anything. So you're gonna have to do stuff on your own. We're blessed that we have the facilities for players to be able to do that, and so first thing we do, we establish some goals by them. We go through and go, okay, how are we going to reach these goals, and what's your schedule going to be like every week? Because baseball, we're really routine oriented type people, and so setting that daily schedule and then do it. That sometimes is the hardest part, right? The doing, and then got to do it, and got to do it every day. Good, bad, I don't feel great, okay, do it. I feel great today, do it. And that's what it comes down to.
I love that. What would you say, or what does a normal training session look like for you? Like you're prepping for games. What goes
practice.
into that?
It's different depending on the day. We practice at 2:20 every day. Like today, Monday would be our off day. We just played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so today's our off day. When I left the clubhouse, though, there were 17 dudes up there hitting on their own and doing things, which, we always tell them to make sure they get their rest, but again, it's exciting when, again, they don't got to be there and they want to be there.
Yeah.
And so that always breeds a hope, of we don't got it today, but hopefully today's the day we get it. And then, so we practice, like I say, Tuesday through Thursday now that the season has started, and then go play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But practice, there's defense, there's team defense, there's individual defense, team offense. We hit, do base running, pitchers do their thing, and bullpens, throwing, etc., and then go home. But, it really varies depending on the day of the week and what we're doing good and what we're not.
So looking at not just next weekend, but the season as a whole, and besides, the obvious, new team of recruits and everything, what is something that you're really looking forward to this season and what you're looking to improve on?
Well, I'm excited from a personal standpoint, and for our coaching staff, this is probably, one of the biggest challenges we've had. For me personally, since we started the program, it was, that big a turnover, and so, which I'm not a patient guy. That's one of my fallacies. But, trying to be patient and just keep working, keep doing what we know can work. We just got to do it and just keep working till the end. I think, it's our goal always is to get to the conference tournament and win the conference tournament, and then go win a regional, and then go win a super regional, and go win the World Series. But those are so far off, so right now we're just sort of trying to hang in there, keep our head above water, and then continue to get better. But I'm very anxious to see how this team, where we're looking at in May. I do think we've got a lot of injuries right now, and so we got some challenges. And I think if we can survive February, then that makes you tougher. And I think that's a thing that every team needs. And so I'm anxious to see how we battle through. This weekend for one. We're playing the team that knocked us out last year, one of the top teams in the country, and if we're not ready, we'll get embarrassed. But, if we can sort of muddle through that and find a way to go out there and compete, and then hopefully get a little better. No matter what, the next few days brings us, we've got to use it to get better. And so I'm anxious to see if we can do it. As a coach, it's a challenge. So hopefully we can get the players to get where they want to get, and we obviously want them to get as well.
Amen. Well, we're nearing the end of the show. What are some final remarks you want to have going towards this next season, to your team, to the community, the school, whatever that might look like?
Well, we're just always thankful for the sport and hang in there with us. Like I say, I probably had 75 texts and phone calls just on the 2-hour ride back on the bus from Odessa, people going, what happened? So we're not losing. We don't expect to lose, but we're going to get there. We just may take a little bit of time, but hang with us. And we generally always are really good at the end. We just got to, like I say, keep our heads above water here. In this first month, and we'll probably have a little bit of growing pains, but I don't like them either. So, but and then who knows? We may come out and just beat the tar out of everybody. That'd be good too. So anyway, but if there's some bumps in the road, hang with us.
I believe you are going to have a great season.
Well, I hope you're right.
Coach, I've loved getting to just sit and talk to you. I love getting just to get to know you. You seem like you're an amazing coach, an amazing man. Just getting to know you has been great this past 30 minutes.
Well, I enjoyed it, and you did a great job.
Thank you, sir. Well, Ram fam, that was another episode of Ramzone. Join us next week as we introduce our new host, Ram TV's very own Kade Hinojosa. See y'all next week.